Because ACC is licensed by the SRO, the developers can only add certain content to the game. That's probably why we haven't seen the Nordschleife yet, even though everyone and their grandma is asking for it. ACC has great GT3 and GT4 cars, but sometimes you start dreaming about the possibilities. What cool cars could they add next? What would make for some exciting racing? One of the most requested classes is LMP, Le Mans Prototype. In today's video, we're taking a trip down to Imagination Land and we're discussing the ups and downs of LMPs in ACC. And I've tested it out in Project Cars 2 with LMP cars and GT4 cars. Le Mans prototypes have a lot more downforce and speed compared to GT4 or even GT3 cars. This means that they'll be lapping the slower cars after a couple of laps. And this is the interesting part about LMPs versus GT cars. Also, this is the first point I want to examine. When the GT4 cars were announced for ACC, there was a lot of speculation about them. They were going to be fun and the racing was going to be more exciting. When you're in a longer race, you're going to be lapping the GT4s. You're going to be fighting with the opponents from the same class while also avoiding the traffic. If you've driven an ACC lately, you know this didn't happen. People in GT3 cars rarely show any respect to anyone in a GT4 car and expect them to get out of the way ASAP, or they'll just run into them and call them a slimy mole rat in the chat or something. This led to a lot of people just going back to GT3 cars, so they didn't have to deal with all the bullies or being lapped or being overtaken by crazy people. And I think something similar will happen with LMP cars if they were added to the game. They're faster, so most people would want to drive them. Most people want to drive the fastest cars. And besides that, most people don't like it when they're passed by another car, even if it's in a totally different class. They just don't want to be lapped. So they want to drive the fastest car even more. That's why I think adding another class into ACC needs a little bit of thought. A new class will probably divide the player base more. And if that keeps happening, it gets harder to find filled up lobbies and find a good race to race in. Now my next talking point is that LMPs aren't that much faster than GT3 cars. It's gonna take around 5 to 10 laps depending on the driver's skill and the length of a lap, of course, before LMPs start seeing the back markers of the lower class. Meaning that only longer races will see LMPs overtaking GT3s. And if you look at the server browser right now, people do prefer the shorter races. So you're not gonna see much LMP on GT action in those shorter races, which kind of defeats the purpose. And of course the minority of people who are involved in endurance racing will love this kind of thing. But the majority of people will just complain that their favorite vroom vroom machine isn't the fastest anymore. But that's enough negativity for now. Let's look at some possible positives. ACC has an amazing engine. Everything looks pretty flippin' good. And the physics, they work amazingly, and it's very good on the GT3 bad boys. But the physics engine also works wonders with the cute and cuddly GT4 cars. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that I would love to see more cars in this amazing physics and graphics engine. Le Mans prototypes with the graphics that will knock your socks off. Yummy yum. I would eat that up like a bear preparing for hibernation. And the thought of a 1-hour race with a filled up grid of LMPs, GT3s and GT4s on something like the Nürburgring, gosh darn, that makes my jimmies giggly. With LMP cars you also need to have Le Mans in the game. And combine Le Mans with the real-time day and night cycle, the realistic weather variations that are already in the game, and you got yourself a contender for the world's best 24 hours of Le Mans virtual simulator. LMPs would be a cool addition to ACC, but I think the people who are asking for it just want more shiny cars to play with. LMPs are wonderful when you're imagining all the possibilities but these fantasies hardly ever become reality. People just want variation and things they don't already have. But what I think doesn't really matter, so let me know what you think about the fantasy of LMPs in ACC. Anyway, I hope you liked the video, subscribe for more sim racing fun, sleep tight tonight, don't let LMP cars bite your butt off. My beautiful baby boys, my beautiful baby girls, I hope to see you next time. I love you.